Hi, I'm Jonathan Weinberg, and this is Drawing with Fountain Pens. Today I'm going to break with precedent and do something I haven't done before, which is I'm going to talk about a pen that I was actually given. Believe it or not, so far, all the pens that I've reviewed on this channel have pens that I've actually bought. But when I was at the Philly Pen Show last week, I spoke to Gary Lang, who is the Pelikan USA brand manager, and he actually gifted me this pen, which is the Pelikan Pina Colada. He gave me the rollerball and he gave me one of the fountain pens. The rollerball is actually interesting. It came before the fountain pen. It goes for similar price. And came out, I think, around 2022 or 2021. What's interesting about the rollerball is that it actually uses fountain pen ink and uses cartridges that work with a fountain pen. So all the many colors that you can get for that will work with it, and it actually writes very smoothly. I hope I'm not being brought over to the dark side when I say that. It was very popular, and so then that led to the fountain pen. Another thing I wanted to bring out again, say once more, is that you'll notice that I'm saying Pelikan now instead of Pelikan, and it is Gary Lang who convinced me that that's what people who now work for Pelikan, certainly in the United States, call it that, and he said that even in Germany that's the way they pronounce it. The pen comes in this nice, well, it's not that great, little box. It's kind of unpretentious box, right? And it comes with one ink cartridge. It's meant to be a cartridge filling pen, although it will work with a international style converter. It uses so-called international style cartridges. Always be careful, though. I've found that really sometimes so-called standard cartridges or international style cartridges from Europe tend to work best in European pens, and some of the other cartridges that you get that are in for Asian pens don't quite fit right. Certainly Pelikan's cartridges fit right. It comes with one in the box that's actually inside the pen when you open it up. It is made out of plastic, although it looks like it's brushed steel. You open it up and it has a somewhat rubber-like section here, which has this indentation, which this is a pen I think very much geared towards students or first-time users, and so it guides you to how you're supposed to hold the pen. Some people don't like that. It's fine with me. The nib has a fountain pen shape, but it fits on the pen very much the same way that Lamy nibs fit, and it tends to be on a lot of the inexpensive Pelikan pens. The clip is, I actually really like this. It's very thin metal, so I wonder how long it will hold up. But I like the way that it kind of seems almost like a paper clip, and it works very, very well. Of course, it has the logo, very simple on the top and on the bottom. I suppose you could say that the clip still kind of evokes a Pelikan, and on the bottom it has the hole here because, and so you can't eyedropper this pen because I suppose somebody could put it in their mouth and choke on it, so it has to have a breather hole. That's very standard on pens that are geared towards students and perhaps even children. So you can't eyedropper it. You can use a converter in this pen, but there is the problem on the section that this would, I think, when you stick it into the ink, it's gonna hold the ink in it, and it's gonna be like a magnet for ink. So it's gonna be a little harder to clean, and I think it's very purposely designed so that it will be best to be used with cartridges. And again, that fits very much for the student market, and is not unlike a lot of pens at this price point. It has a snap-on cap, and you can see on the top and the bottom there's no sign of a Pelikan. That's on the more expensive pens, but it posts very securely. It's a very light pen, so it's a kind of pen that you really do want to post, not so much just because to make it long, but because it weights it better. When I write with it, you want it to be posted. Now, and I've left a sticker on it just to show you how it comes, but there's no reason to keep the sticker on it. It looks much better without it. And this is the pen again. Now, one of the things that happened coincidentally is just as I got this, the day after I got back from Philly, this came in the mail from Trufe Pens. This is the Lamy Safari Pina Colada. That's what they call this one. So it's a special edition of the Lamy Safari. I had some special shopping points and used it to buy this pen. It was discounted. It was only around $20, and I really actually love the colors of it, which to me do, particularly when you open it up, evoke the name Pina Colada, which is obviously not just a Rupert Holmes song, but a delicious, refreshing drink that you have in the tropics. I was doing some research on it, and the name means strained pineapple. That makes sense. But also I was surprised to hear that it is a drink that has a kind of legendary background and may have been, in fact, invented by pirates who were involved in Puerto Rico's history. So it has a storied past, and of course it's one of the drinks that people have when they go on vacation, and now it's winter right now, and it would be lovely to be able to sip a pina colada in the tropics, but I'm in the icy New England. Anyway, these colors and the whole look of the Safari pen evoke pina colada. I don't understand, to be honest, why Pelikan used the name Pina Colada to describe this pen, or the other two versions of this pen that come in pink and light blue. You would think that yellow would be one of the things that would make it seem like Pina Colada, but there's no sign of yellow here. I guess they think that it is a charming, evocative name, but it doesn't seem to me to have anything to do with this pen, even it's a rollerball or its fountain pen version. However, it does seem to me that these two pens are interesting to compare because they both sort of have similar target audiences. I think they are meant to appeal to young people. The Safari has been around since the 1980s and is one of the most evocative, most beautiful modern designs, not just, I think, of fountain pens, but really of the later half of the 20th century. It's the kind of design that you will see in a museum. I think Pelikan has, for years, been trying to kind of compete with Lamy. They have the great classic pens of the Souverain line. I always keep saying the M800 is one of my, if not my most favorite pen, certainly to write with, not necessarily to draw with. And I think those pens are very, very elegant. I think that they haven't been so successful in terms of coming up with more modern designs. So they've done some interesting work with that. This design, I think, is one of their more successful, and it's just particularly when the cap is closed. And I think that they have actually been looking at what Lamy is doing to some degree. If you look at the Aeon design by Jasper Morrison, there seems to me to be a close relationship, although there are plenty of pens that look like the Pina Colada. If you look at other entry-level pens that Pelikan has designed, this is called the Future pen. I think that this Pina Colada pen is much more successful. This too has the brushed look it actually is aluminum, I think. I don't think it is plastic. And it relates, but it's trying too hard. It just doesn't look elegant. It's trying too hard, I think, to look of the future, and actually looks kind of dated, and it's fussy, I think, and it just doesn't work for me in terms of the way it looks. While this is a much more streamlined, much more elegant design, probably less expensive too than this so-called to make than this so-called future pen. I think the future pen looks kind of cheesy in terms of also the plasticky of it when you close it. And I think the clip is over-designed. They're trying hard to make it still look like a pelican beak. And here they've really sort of, I think, got it, right? You can still say that it looks like a bird beak, but also it doesn't. And it just seems like the sweet spot in terms of doing something that it's not super expensive, that looks of now, but still is evocative of the pen tradition. I think also, instead of the way here on the future pen, they put the logo down here, and it's very bright and shiny. It says Pelicano because that's sort of their line of inexpensive pens. Here, it just says Pelikan in a very elegant typeface, and I think that's nicer in a way. Probably less expensive because it's not engraved into the pen. I think that they, in a way, are taking some of Jasper Morrison's ideas of making something simple, not worrying about being original about it. So he should not be offended if they were using some of his aesthetic principles, because his principles are all about not being so egotistical. Now, as it turns out, and I've reviewed this and talked about in relationship to the Aeon, is the Pelikan now has a new pen that they call the Eon that is very much related, I think, to the Jasper Morrison, and I think is in the same sort of aesthetic, has this less expensive plastic. This is a metal pen. This is a plastic pen, the Pelikan Pina Colada. So everything about this pen I really like. I'm going to do a writing test. I'm going to draw with it. I'm going to draw a pineapple with it because that seems very appropriate. But the only thing that really bothers me and seems like a mystery is its name. If I was Pelikan, I would change the name to something that is more fitting for the way the pen looks. Or at least I come out with a nice yellow version of the pen, yellow and white version of the pen, so that we would understand why it's called Pina Colada. We have the Pelikan Pina Colada. It is a medium nib. This is Pelikan cartridge, royal blue. This is rhodia paper. And actually it writes quite smoothly. It's not like a expensive Pelikan pen, but it's very pleasant. I would say that it's just as good or similar to a Lamy Safari in terms of the quality. It's quite wet. It has absolutely no flex to it. but it can reverse write. And it writes very fast. Squibbles. This is the so-called Per Gustafsson test. No skipping. So in terms of drawing, this is fine, but of course it doesn't have any flex to it, so you're not going to get line variation. But it is a good pen for writing. So in honor of the Pina Colada pen, I decided to draw a pineapple. And I realized I've never drawn a pineapple before. And also come under the sway of Per Gustafsson, who convinced me the best way to test a pen is to really scribble quickly and see if it can keep up. And I am actually quite impressed by how wet this pen is and how good the flow is. It has no flex to speak of, but it will work reverse quite well. In conclusion, if you like pina coladas, I don't know if you'll like this pen, but I like it, and I do like pina coladas.